What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus deck profile. Today we're going over one of my fan favorite decks. This is Ancient Gear. This is not going to be one of the most meta-reliant decks, so definitely don't look forward to that if you guys want to play meta. It's just a really fun deck that I'm going to be taking to locals, so you guys may see some gameplay for it as well. This is one of my fan favorites. Just got some new cards, so I'm glad to show it off. So we're going to start off with the Ancient Gear Golem. This is going to be your big boss monster. You only play one of it. We all know what this one does. If it's defense attacks, defense position monster, inflicts battle damage. You have to play this, unfortunately, because you want to be able to use it for some fusion cards, which we'll mention later, but you only need to play one. Then we're playing two of the new Ancient Gear Dark Golem. It was actually kind of hard to get my hands on this guy, which is kind of crazy, but this card is actually insane. It's one of the new cards here. It's like the retrained of the Ancient Gear Golem. But when this card comes, this name when it's on the field or in the graveyard, which is very important. If this card is normal plus summon, you can add two cards that include Ancient Gear cards or Gear Town from your deck to your hand except itself. Then discard one card and you can't set cards. So that means you can't use Imperm or you can't set the copies of droplets. Kind of important. Now this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate spells and trap cards until the end of the damage step, which is really nice. So yes, being able to add back or add two cards, kind of crazy from your deck and discarding one. You have lots of good discard targets as well. But just like really nice to get that searches. Then we are playing the 3-triple Wyvern here. This lets you search as well. This deck does lose to Droll quite easily. Frame, you could cut this down to 2, and then some of the new card you're playing the 2 tanker and or 3 tanker and then the 2 commander, as well as the 1 box. So this lets you search. I believe this lets you pop and search as well. Normally supposed to use special one to from your hand. So you can summon this one here with and then you can control another monster. Like you can just it's just really cool. So like you have like a lot of combos. It's kind of your like 2-card combo with another one. Lets you summon this out from your hand if you cheat it out. And then Commander has a graveyard effect, which is nice. You do play Urgent Schedule in the deck as well. So like lets you summon out like this, and then you link them away, get your search, which we are playing the box. You can debatably cut this. Like this can be my card I'm trying to debate cutting. Like I want to kind of play 2 frames, cut the gearbox so I can actually have then 12 non-engine slots, but for now we only have 10. But yeah, it's really cool. Like, this is the kind of in-engine cards. Lets you kind of get your searches. You do see level 4s as well. You get to get your links quite easily. But yeah, quite nice. And then we are playing the Double Therion King for when you're forced to go first, really. This card is really good going second as well. You know, you can discard some cards, summon this out, and you have another body in the field. You do really OTK with this. It kind of is like a worse version of Tempai, but it's really fun. I do love the deck a lot. We're playing the 3 Gear Town, the 3 Catapults, the 3 Ancient Gear Advance, one of the newer cards. Crazy card, by the way. And then the 2 Fortress. So Gear Town, when it's popped, lets you summon one from the deck. Catapult lets you pop cards if you don't control anything. And you can also summon a token with it. You don't really ever summon the tokens, but like you normally can go like Ancient Gear Fortress or let's say Ancient Gear Advanced. You activate Ancient Gear Advanced, you add 1 spell and trap, you add this, and then you contribute 1 monster. So let's say you searched with the Wyvern. You then normal summon the Wyvern, activate the effect, search for the Advanced. You then go Advanced, search for Catapult, pop this, and then you get to normal summon a level 5 or higher on that turn without tributing, and then you can like activate this, pop that, and then get some of your effects off, which is really cool. Summon one from the deck, you can summon out this, and then all of a sudden this can activate the effect, letting you search for 2 more cards, and then you can just essentially just get a full combo line there. Like just really cool interactions. You can also pop Ancient Gear Fortress. This card's kind of like the Tempai field spell. You know, you can't activate any card or effects the turn, or they're unaffected by cards or effects when they're normal summon or special summon that turn. And then whenever they activate their effects, you can't respond to them, which is really cool. So just definitely nice. I want to bump this up to 3, but unfortunately with like having like 7 copies or 8 copies of these cards, and then having 3 pops, and then having obviously many searchers, you don't want to like kind of brick up in the deck, and you want to be able to minimize the deck completely as possible because you don't have that many non-engine slots. So you want to try to play the most non-engine slots because these cards are like are all hard per turn, as well as you want to be able to search them and then have like interaction pieces. Like these don't break boards on their own, unfortunately. So we are playing the 1 Ancient Gear Fusion alongside the Ancient Gear Duel. So this card, you see like a trap and you're like, oh, well, you can't set cards when you activate Advance or when you activate other stuff. For some reason, they wanted to give a really bad deck even worse stuff going first. So they kind of just like slap that restriction on them. But you can actually place this face up with some of the cards. So like it lets you fuse, which is really nice. Letting you go into, for example, this one here, going into it. And then you're able to OTK like 3 times by hitting with it. Like it'll attack 3 times. It's kind of crazy. And it's like just going to get gain attack and then essentially go for game. It's like 12,000 damage, which is pretty nice. But yeah. And then of course, Ancient Gear Fusion letting you go into whatever you want in your Ancient Gear cards. If you use a Ancient Gear Golem as well, you can use monsters from the deck. So being able to dump from your graveyard, kind of like a Branded Fusion Knight type, can be quite nice as well. But yeah, this deck is definitely not near good. So definitely if you are taking this, don't try taking it to a regional. It's not going to do very good. You may be able to squeeze in a top 8 sometimes, but it's just really a for fun deck that you can play at your locals. Then we are playing for the non-engine. We are playing the double urgent schedule. This is just so that we can get multiple cards onto the field. You know, it is also sometimes an Ash target, which is pretty nice. If you start off with this, people are like going to throw away an Ash, and then you can just like play with your other cards. But like this deck does get hit with Ash pretty badly, as well as Droll, as I mentioned, lots of search cards. But it is a going second deck, so we are playing the triple copies of Forbidden Droplets, the triple copies of Imperm, and then of course the double copy of Talents to round it off to 40. The reason why we're playing this is because we don't want to lose to Talents. You know, you want to have the most card advantage as possible in this deck. So having like the, let's say, in this case, you have your 12 non-engine slots. You don't want to play into Ash. I guess you have, 10. I want to say 12 because you can take out the box and like 1 Regulus. You can take out box and you can take out a frame here. So like you have 12 non-engine slots. We're choosing to play 2 more engine cards instead. Like the rest of it's pretty all mandatory. But yeah, like if you play 12, you're not going to really see hand traps well enough to have like your double hand traps. You kind of want to start seeing 15. And a lot of your cards you can't really play when you're talking like Nib, because you want to have no monster on the field. So you have to like really pick and choose. We don't want to lose the talents, so by just not playing any hand traps, you're eliminating the talents and a thrust rift, which is pretty nice. And then of course being able to droplets and then imperm. A lot of the times if you have like 1 hand trap, it's not going to be the greatest this format. But you also don't want to be playing against a deck that's able to set up a huge board and then you get punished. So having like imperm and droplets that you play kind of through them, you can normally hold this to your turn and then like go imperm and then chain droplets, get rid of 2 cards, negating essentially 2 stuff, which is pretty nice. But yeah, it's just kind of like, this also helps you OTK a lot by having the attack, then you can just like smash into things, which is really nice. But yeah, the deck is once again not the craziest. You do want to be playing the most hand traps possible this format or board breaker cards, and we're kind of like trying to do a little bit of both there, which is good for the deck. Now moving on to the extra deck, we are playing the 2 Ballistas. This card's absolutely insane. Then you search for your box or a copy of Gear Town, or I guess any Ancient Gear monster if you want. Then box can then search for your other cards like Commander, which is pretty nice, rather than just like getting another search. And then you can obviously use that box for a copy of droplets, being able to discard. Then we are playing the Platinum Gadget. This is going to be a very staple machine card. And then we are playing the IP Masquerade as well as the SP when you're forced to go first, as well as the Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. A lot of the times you can just either choose to go into IP or you can end on IP and SP going first, really whatever. Or if you want to be able to get interrupted, you get to go for the Appaloosa, which is really cool. You're going to be a big matte Appaloosa. And then we are playing for the fusions, the Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, one of my favorite cards ever, being a huge body and unaffected, which is really cool. Then it can attack everything, as well as once each you can attack everything. And then it also inflicts battle damage, so normally a Terran Ender. Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem, this is going to let you be able to OTK by using the Ancient Gear Duel, which is really nice. I'm going to be able to attack multiple times, 3 times, being at 44, pretty crazy. And then you have the Ancient Gear Megatron, just because we can, as well as the Ancient Gear Howitzer. You don't really summon this quite often, but it's just there in case you do. Sometimes you'll be playing against like a Kashtira, they'll like rip this, and then you have to go into something else. So you want to have like another big monster that you can just attack stuff into, which is going to be this one here, if they end up both ripping both of them. Then you have Howitzer just for time, being able to be burning for 1,000 can be nice. And then for the XYZs, we're playing the Baguska, the Merrymaker, the Circus, the Dingirsu, as well as the Zeus. So you could change this for the 38 and then maybe end on like 38 plus IP as a end board. But we're choosing really not to do that. We're wanting to go for like a lot of going second cards. A lot of the times your IP, you want to be able to focus into an Appaloosa or a copy of Little Knight. And then being able to like not prioritize to XYZ, you can sometimes go into like the Circus with the Merrymaker, and then you can search for a copy of the of whatever his name is, Regulus. And that way you could end on like IP, Regulus, Circus, and then like obviously the IP and the Circus can go into a copy of SP Little Knight. You then have the Regulus as well, which is pretty cool. So it's like you have like multiple lines of interruption, and this deck is not really good going first, which is why we're also playing the copy of Baguska. So if you're playing it's like Brand or something like that, and they make you go first because they know they can easily break your board, you can just summon out a Baguska, and then a lot of times they're gonna have to like waste a lot of energy to like actually destroy that. Same thing with like Melodious or even Tempai. You know, they're gonna have quite a bit of a trouble to get over it unless they can just pop it. So like having it in the deck can be quite nice going first, because this deck does struggle going first consistently. But going second, we have lots of lines that we can just push. Just make sure that you remember that if you activate SP Little Knight's effect, you can actually attack directly that turn. So that's really important when you are playing this deck. But the deck is really cool. I'm going to be taking it to locals today actually. This is going to be recorded pre me going to locals, so I'll be able to come back and let you guys know in the comment section, as well as being able to see some duels with this deck. And yeah, stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe. Peace.